I want to see that again. So there was a time where you kind of just sat there.
I, yeah, I'm sitting here looking at him. Waiting
Yeah,
for
I was like, what's going on here? Hello everyone, Dibz here, and welcome to the first episode of Zero to Hero, a new analysis series where we coach somebody who is currently in bronze and see how far they could climb. Now this is going to be strictly a YouTube series, and this is going to be off stream so that we can focus on communicating with each other and asking questions as well as expressing our thoughts throughout the VOD review. In case you guys are wondering, this is absolutely free. I didn't ask him to pay me. I didn't ask him, to do any compensation. I just wanted to do this for fun, just to see how far somebody would be able to get. Now we're going to be coaching someone by the name of Noah Odom. And without further ado, let's get started. Just give us a short intro about yourself and who you are and yeah, any general information that you'd like anybody else to know.
Hi, my name's Noah. I am a bronze player. I've owned the game since 2016. I actually played the beta. I am currently around like 1400 SR, 1500 SR, and we're trying to climb up. I'm having issues climbing by myself all the way up. I've been playing this game for a long time. Took a little bit of a break, coming back. I stream it now. I guess you could consider it full-time with the amount of hours I'm streaming, but not really like a dedicated full-time streamer where that's like all I do. So yeah.
Okay, so it looks like you're on Blizzard World. Tracer defense, pretty... I do enjoy playing Tracer on Blizzard World on defense. There's a lot of different angles that you can hold, and I see that you are choosing this one. It's kind of an interesting one. Okay, wait. Let's just see where your Rhine is going first, to be honest. Because it's like right now, you guys are holding pretty far forward based off of what I'm used to. The reason why this one may or may not be a good spot is because by chance, sometimes people do take this roundabout to kind of just like get to the high ground, like maybe a Tracer or a Genji. If you do see a Tracer or a Genji, they may end up hopping around this way. And if you meet somebody and you get stuck here, what happens a lot of the times is that they call you out, and then the regular group or the rest of the group that's going through main will be here, and then the person who's chasing you will be here chasing you, and then you'll be stuck here, right? So this is kind of a risky position, I think, in regards to Tracer. You should try to find, so whenever you're thinking about a place for you to hold on defense, what you should be thinking about is where do you expect the pathway for the enemy to be, okay? That's really, really important because that allows you to set yourself up so that you can get in and get out. Because if the enemy team comes through mid here and somebody comes through this side, you're trapped, basically.
So what I was gonna attempt to do is draw out a duel between any flankers that they had, whether it was like a soldier or like a McCree who was trying to flank and get an angle around our shields. So I was gonna try and pull out the duel because I was gonna fight around the health pack, and then that would give me that. But I do see what you're talking about, and I have had that happen to me before.
So another place that I like to do or like to be at is like right here, because this gives you easy access to what you can see, and also it gives you access to being able to get back to your team in case they are here on the point. So this is basically just a regular mindset in regards to playing Tracer. Whenever you're playing on defense, you've always got to be prepared to get out, and you don't want to be too stuck behind the enemy team. Okay, so right now you don't have any info. Your Ryan is holding close. You hear a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, looks like you're going in for the flank here. Okay, who are you aiming for right now? You're going for Bastion. Okay, so target prioritization at that moment right there. First, going for the Bastion right off the bat is something that you don't want to be doing because he's already being pocketed by the Mercy. You can see that the beam is attached to him, right? So yeah. There's no chance of you one-clipping that Bastion. There's no way you're going to kill him in one clip. But right here, you got two juicy targets for yourself. You got a Mercy, who doesn't know you're there, and also you have a Zen, who's easier to one clip. But then the thing is, if you end up shooting the Zen, the Mercy can end up pocketing the Zen. So right now, since the Mercy is the closest to you, I feel like she is the prime target. You don't want to be targeting whatever she's beaming, because if she's already having a beam on this target, all she has to do is just switch to a left click and just heal the Bastion, and you're not going to get anything done. Right, so number one thing, target prioritization needs to be on the support before the DPS, especially if the DPS is tanky. This guy is a really, really tanky DPS. He has, how much? He has 300 life, about 50 of it is armor, you're not going to be able to kill him before anything happens. So that's one thing that you should be thinking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think why I went on the Bastion here was the Mercy was moving a little bit more unpredictable, and I wasn't really confident in my aim at the time. So I think this was like a few days ago, before I had put like a couple hours into the aim trainer. So I think I was less confident that I was going to be able to one clip the Mercy, and I think what I wanted to do was go on the Zen. And I think just ended up deciding to go for the Bastion when he went turret mode because I wanted to displace him. I think is what I was trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, so a target that's not looking your direction, I don't think you have to be too worried about, your confidence in your aiming, because the only way for you to get better at it is to just practice. But yeah, she is the easiest and most accessible target for you. So I want you to be a little bit more out of your comfort zone and just try to go for the support, because that's what you are as Tracer, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You have other people who are able to take it to the Bastion, and your main job is to at least force cooldowns onto yourself, or at least just maybe take out a support. You have a higher chance, even if your aim isn't that great, right? If you try, in order to kill a Bastion who is in turret mode and being pocketed by a Zen and a Mercy, you're not going to be able to kill him in 2 clips unless you get all headshots into his head and if nobody heals on him, right? So that's, you're basically assuming that the enemy team is going to make mistakes for you to actually kill the Bastion. So the amount of effort that it takes for you to kill the Mercy is much less than the amount of effort it is for you to take care of a Bastion. So yeah, I would say either way, in this situation, you always want to be prioritizing supports. Don't worry about how confident you are in your aim. Like that will come with you in time, right? It just takes practice. So the more that you practice, the better it is.
Got you. Yeah, so that right there alone is enough to make me realize a lot of like situations I die in, it's probably because I'm not targeting like the support or the easier target. I'm picking the harder fight, and it causes me to burn all my cooldowns, and then I end up dying because I have nothing up and no way to get out.
Yeah, and also it depends on the situation too as well. For example, you have Mercy and Ana, right? You have the Mercy healing the Ana, and you have the Ana healing the Mercy. It's going to be really hard for you to pick them off. But for example, you see, let's say, a Reinhardt to your left who's not being healed because your healers are healing each other, right? But then you see him off to the side, he's like 10 HP. Then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go for the Reinhardt because he's easier for me to pick off and he's not being pocketed. So it's like your priority does change based off the HP, but in this case, whoever is the easiest for you to pick off, that should be the person that you go for.
Got you.
Okay, going for the Zen. Nice. You switched your target prioritization. Okay. All right. Good. See how your target prioritization did change because you saw the Ryan, like, oh, he's weak. Might as well just pick him off. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I did see earlier was that you switched targets a lot. You were on the Zen for a little bit, and then you switched to the Mercy. I would like you to try to stick on the Mercy a little bit, or stick on the Zen as much as you can. You did switch targets, so I think it was just kind of like you saw a different target just hop into your screen, and then you lost your focus. So try to stick on one target if you can. We'll probably see it a lot, and I'll bring it up later again. Okay, going toward the back. It's good. Zen's there. He knows you're around. Okay, good focus on the Zen. Okay, like right here. Yeah, exactly. Again, you swapped off your target prioritization. You were on the Zen for a little bit. He was definitely being pocketed by the Mercy, yes, but you can do enough damage to pick him off. The amount of burst that you have with your aiming, right? So you missed a little bit, it's okay. And if you take a look at how much HP he's at right now, he's at 139 HP. With a full clip of Tracer, she will do about 240 damage without headshots. So you can pretty much do a pretty good amount of damage against the Zen. It's much better than swapping off to a Bastion because, right, like I said, yeah, he's tankier and you're not going to do anything against him. Like, you shooting a few bullets into the Bastion, it may distract them a little bit, but it's like you're losing your target on the Zen, and also you're giving him the ability to shoot at you, right? So because you lost track of him, or you didn't lose track, but you changed your target, you not only stopped killing him, you also took your eyes off of him, and he already knows that you're around, right? Does that make sense? So it's like he knows he's already shooting at you.
Yeah,
If you turn your
yeah.
back on him, he's just gonna keep shooting at you, right? So you gotta realize that threat is still there. Just because you don't see him doesn't mean that he's just gonna stop shooting at you.
Right.
So that's one thing. Another thing is that you did have recall as well, right? This was a really dangerous situation for you to get into already because you see that the Zen and the Mercy are, or at least the Mercy is healing the Zen. You need to figure out whether or not this is a situation that you can get any value out of. And then you need to realize that if you don't, if you can't, that you need to get out. You do have recall right now. And you also have another blink. In this next 2 seconds, either you have to get a pick or you have to recall to get out because you're too deep right now, right? So you're basically, how do I say this? You're putting too much of your cooldowns into the situation without any value. Right, so now if you got to pick on the Zen, that's fine. Right, if you got to pick on the Zen, it's fine. Get out. Maybe you might die for it. It's still an even fight. It's okay. It's still even. Better than 0, right? But right now you have your recall. You're kind of putting too much into this fight. Okay, let's go 20 seconds. Okay, so now you're going back. Okay, focus on the baby diva. Good. Okay, yeah, this is not a bad spot for you to stay because it allows the enemy team to rush by and then you can already be on the flank. That's only if they do come into that entrance though. Okay, I think you're looking for a pulse here. Good, that's good. Big pulse. Okay, now all you have to do is just get out because you secured 2 kills. You don't really need to kill the rest of the entire team. Your team should be pushing in, but if your team doesn't push in, you should not be the only one to push in. Okay, nice. Alright, I want you to see you use your recall a little bit more. You were at 7 HP and it was really dangerous. You could have used your recall at the beginning or in the middle of the fight. Let's take a look at that one more time. Begin your HP. Okay, you got the pick here. So right now you're at 7 HP. Anything that hits you, even maybe Diva bullets can actually kill you because you have Discord. But if if the Diva decided to just rush in and boop you, right, you'd be dead. In this situation, I want you to always be aware that recall does heal the amount of damage that you take within the last 3 seconds. And if you're ever low HP, if you ever hear the gasping sound of yourself being low on HP, I want it to be almost automatic for you to use your recall. It's your saving grace, basically.
Yeah, that's my oh shit button.
Yeah, you need to be using that a little bit more. Even if you did get a pick on the soldier, if anybody decided to be aggressive on you at that moment, you would have died.
I think another way to put it might be that a better player would have killed me.
Possibly that too, yeah. But you were able to get this picked off, that's good, that's good. Just a small thing that you can do. Okay, nice pick. Okay. Where's that grab? Okay, hold on. Let me take a look to see where that grab was. First of all, if you ever do hear a grab from your Zarya, I want you to at least take a look at what is being grabbed. Because usually whatever is grabbed, very easy for you to get picks, right? Because you're standing still. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that the grab is on nothing. Okay, yep. Ah. Okay, so it looks like she was trying to grab the Zen or somebody who was back here. In any case, if you ever do hear a grab fire at will on your team, I want you to at least take a look at what's going on, right? Because if the Zen was here and he got caught in the grab, you can just turn around and be like, oh, it's an easy one clip. Finish him off, then go back to the fight, right? So in general, I keep repeating this, but this is like, what is the easiest target for you to go for, right? What should throw the alarms to you saying, hey, you know, pay attention to this. This makes it really easy for you to get picks. Whether it's grav, or whether if somebody is naded, or if somebody gets flashed, or if somebody just gives a call out, right? If someone says, oh, Zen is 1, then you should be in your head, you'd be like, okay, Zen is 1, I need to be looking for the Zen and pick him off. Or if you get a Zarya grav, if somebody's in a grav, I need to figure out what's inside and see who I can pick. If there's nobody in it, then I can ignore it and just go back to what I was doing before, right? So you should always be thinking about like, who is the easiest person for me to pick off and what can I do?
Got it.
Okay. Going for the health pack. Okay, you hear the Reinhardt in the back, okay. I see that you're trying to slow him down, it's okay. It's really tough for your team to win this this fight anyway on the point. Okay, nice try. Oof, oof. So a little bit on that tracking there. So let's take a look at your sensitivity. I want to take a look to see if it was over aiming. So that was actually that wasn't anything there. So a little bit under aiming right there. A little bit under aiming. So if you can see right here, you're a little bit behind the Reinhardt. Okay, so if you ever do notice the fact that you're missing a lot of your shots, a good way for you to figure out whether it's too high or too low is to see if you're overshooting or if you're undershooting. If you're undershooting, that means your sensitivity is too low, and if you're overshooting, then your sensitivity is too high. So basically, if you are shooting here, and then if let's say the target is here on your left side, and you're trying to track it, but you keep lagging behind, and you're not able to keep up with it, that means your sensitivity is too low. However, if there is a target to your right side, and let's say you try to flick to it, but you flick way over to the side, and you pass the target, right? And then you have to constantly go back and then keep correcting it back and forth, that means your sensitivity is too high. So you want to find a sweet spot where you flick to the target and you're on the target, and also that when you try to track the target, you're not falling too far behind, too far forward, and you're on the target. So that's one way for you to kind of figure out, oh, is it too high, is it too low? And you just got to play around with it a lot. And that's what the aim trainer is really good at, helping you kind of figure out. Okay, so you're going back to the point here. Let's see what's going on. Looks like your Ryan is on it alone. Okay, going after the soldier, doing a recall, that's good. Okay. So try to be, that was a really tough one because it was like a 5v1. You didn't really have any tanks for you. But you gotta notice, like if a soldier is being pocketed again, right? The supports were in their backline, pretty much not free, but they were at least easier targets for you to take care of. So that was a shatter from your team. Right. So right here, you don't have to hurry back to the point. Right. Look how low how low the Mercy is. Okay. You gotta be keeping eyes on her the whole time. Right now you're getting distracted by this soldier. Right. You're getting distracted by this soldier, and also this diva, and also this Reinhardt rest. You can easily just blink towards the back and figure out who in the heck is keeping this soldier alive. Right. Instead of just picking off the target directly, like I understand that you don't have any blinks, but once your blink comes up, right, you need to be going towards the backline, or even before that, you can just be heading towards this backline because your Reinhardt can contest the point for just a little bit. Your prime, how do I say this? Your effectiveness is always in the backline. So you got to be thinking about how important is it for me to be on this point right now? Not really, right? Because your Reinhardt is on the point. You kind of just like being annoying a little bit can draw a little bit of direction away from your Reinhardt, but your Reinhardt is just going to be holding his shield. He's going to die sooner or later because he have no heals. However, in order for you to pick off this soldier, you got to cut off his source of healing, which is his Mercy. Unless you have godly aim, you're not going to be able to one-clip a soldier who is in this healing pad and also being pocketed by Mercy. Right? So it's also just like thinking about, okay, at least just knowing or keeping an eye on the Mercy and just trying to pressure her as much as you can, rather than whatever's in front of you. I mean, I'm not saying that this is going to be winnable if you do that, but at least in general, it should always be happening, even if it's an unwinnable fight. Because then you can get a pick, and after that, maybe your team can come back, and maybe they can get a pick after that. And then because you got a pick on the soldier, they don't have enough damage to fight you off. And then it can snowball into more and more mistakes by the enemy team because you got that first pick, if that makes any sense.
Right, especially if you kill a Mercy over time.
Exactly. Okay. Brig, nice. Okay, so you got rid of the Brig, that's big. Okay. Go for the Mercy if you can. Nice, nice. Oof. That was a really rough one. Really, really tough. Honestly, nothing you could have done against that. You got rid of the Brig. The Mercy was healing the soldier. Soldier, all he has to do is turn around, you know, aimbot at you, and you die. So, yeah, that was a tough one.
He ended up getting like a 4K there.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, if you got rid of the Mercy at first, then your team may have, you know, because like one mistake leads to another mistake and leads into a bigger mistake. That's how Tracer is. And that's why you always want to be making as least mistakes as possible. If you make one mistake, it just leads into another and it kind of screws you over. Okay, and like that again. Right. Wait, she healed you, right? Okay. So right now,
yeah. So I used this is a really bad habit of mine. I used recall to reposition myself.
That's not bad. that can be okay, but you need to figure out whether it's more important for you to, survive, or if it's more important for you to save your recall. So now you already know that you have the problem, but I want you to don't rely on your healers. Tracer isn't somebody who should rely on your healers, right? You have recall that can technically heal you. You have blinks to get out. Like, you shouldn't be drawing more. You shouldn't try to draw the attention away from your healers to heal you, because you can get heals yourself a lot of different ways, right? Like that. You could have just recalled. So you're saving your recall for I don't know when, but like, I'm not really trying to be mean, but I'm just, I'm trying to tell you gotta use your recall.
Yeah, I knew that she was in this area. I thought she was actually playing the pillar.
Right here?
Yeah, behind the payload. That's why I thought when I went on the soldier over here by the archway that I had support. But because, like you said, I didn't look to my left, and then when I was shooting at him, I didn't recognize that she was dead. I ended up not having support and going for a really risky play when I didn't have anybody there to help me other than the Reinhardt, who I think he backs off as soon as I go in.
For example, if the Ana was still alive, okay, so you got to be thinking about the position of your team versus you, okay? So at every single moment, you got to be thinking, can my support see me? What if I were to tell you, all right, the position of attack is to go up this way, and as long as you're within this line of sight, I will be able to heal you, okay? This is what the Ana will be thinking. This is what your Ana is going to be telling you. Okay, I can see you from here. But if you ever go towards behind this backline, in this area, you will be out of my sight. You will not be able to get healed. Right? But you don't want her to have to tell you that. You got to be thinking, okay, where is my Ana? Where can she see? If she can't see me, I got to assume that I'm just going to take damage, and I got to figure out another way to get healed. So if you're taking a fight here, you can still see your healers at the pillar can see you. But now they can't. Right? And if let's say you're playing Tracer here, shoot, you take damage, you blink into this room, well, our support can't heal me, so what's the next thing? Take this health back, right? This is why it's really important for you to not really heavily rely on your support, because it depends on if they can see you or not. I guess that's the moral of the story. Moral of the story, don't rely too much on your supports, because they can only heal you if they have the ability to, and they won't always have the ability to. Right?
Yeah.
But
not only that, I think if I recall once he rockets, so right here, I get rocketed. If I recall, I'm gonna end up exactly where I am anyways. I'm just gonna have 150 HP. Yeah. Instead of wasting a blink too.
What I like to do is I like to keep a mental count in my head. So let's just think about this, okay? So you would count 0, 1, 2, and 3. Right when you hit 3, that is when you need to recall in order for you to reach a specific spot. So let's just say you have a plan. All right, as Tracer, I'm on high ground. I want to do something within 3 seconds, and then I want to recall and also end up back on high ground. So what you would do is I see what you're saying. So it's like when you jump, you'd be like 0, 1, 2, 3. Now would be the time that you need to recall in order for you to recall and reach this spot, right? If you recall any time after this, then you're going to end up, recalling in the mid-air or on the ground or whatever, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like, how when you're on the freeway and you try to count the distance between you and the car in front of you, how do you do that? You basically look at when they pass an object and you count how many seconds it takes until you hit that object, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the same thing. So for let's say for here, your Tracer, you're like, okay, I want to jump off. You'd be like 0, 1, 2, boom. Now you have to recall. Once you recall, you end up back up here. Anything after that, you won't be able to recall. And then once that happens, you got to realize that it's going to happen, right? Because you're like, okay, I can't recall back to high ground. If I ever do recall after this moment, I'm going to be stuck on the low ground. What is the situation and how can I get out from there, right? Because obviously recalling the high ground is like the safest. But then once you realize the moment that you recall and it's not going to get you to high ground, you have to have a different option to get out. Okay. So we got that bomb. Nice. The Bastion is down. Focusing the tanks a little bit too much. Again, target prioritization. Try to see if you can focus on the support. Okay, nice. Go out to the nice. Good. Cool. All right, so your target priority was changing a little bit, but it ended up on the correct target, which was good.
Yeah, I think my thought process there was I'm trying to build bombs so that because I was like I didn't have it, so I think I was trying to build bomb or pulse. That way I would have it if we needed it to either close the fight or if I wanted to next fight like here I could have used it on Bastion. I ended up using it on the Rhine to close out the last fight.
Cool. Yeah, that's also another strategy too. You know, building your ult charge off of tanks. And then building your propulse bomb and then just like throwing it on the tanks as much as possible and trying to get as many picks as you can. That's also another strat too. I find that pretty viable. Nice. Got him. Okay. Go for the soldier. Nice. Okay, okay. That's good, that's good. Going after the Mercy. Okay. So that's pretty smooth. But yeah, like I said, building your pulse bomb off of the tanks isn't too bad. Like, I do see a lot of people do that too, and it can work. It's a little bit harder to pull off though. It's a little bit harder to pull off, especially, you know, when there are cooldowns that can stop your your pulse bomb from doing any damage. It could be eaten, right? Or you might miss it. Right. There's a lot of things that can happen to your bomb, which makes it a little bit riskier to play like that rather than just like trying to secure a kill.
Right.
But let's see what happened here. Okay, so you dodged that, which was good. Okay, so your team ended up just losing the entire fight. They died to that, and that's fine. It's okay. But you have to realize, okay, now I have a pulse bomb. Okay, how many people are on the point?
2.
There's the Diva and Brigade.
Rally up.
Exactly.
So 800 HP.
Exactly. So is your bomb going to pick off anybody? Is it going to do anything?
Absolutely not. This was a
desperation.
Yeah, that was okay. I need to do something to win this because it's overtime.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like a panicle. So you gotta be like, if that stuff happens to your team, they end up getting a 3-pick. Like, how to say it? Not 3-pick. 3 of your people end up being picked. Okay, you gotta be thinking, okay, is this winnable? That's all you have to do is ask yourself, is this still winnable? If the answer is no, don't use ults. If it is, then go ahead and use an ult.
Yeah, in this elo, when it's overtime, people tend to just throw themselves on point, trying to stall it for whatever reason, which, like, I'm guilty of a lot too. I think I even say it on stream multiple times, like, just go die on point, just go die on point. And unless it's like the last point, there's no point in doing that. I think the team might be better off resetting.
Okay, that was a nice try. Okay. I want to see that again. So there was a time where you kind of just sat there.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at him.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Yeah, like you stared at him for like a whole second.
4 people in this situation are just so lost in the sauce right now.
It's like, do I shoot at him now? What do I do with this guy?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I see a lot of armor here. I have pulse.
Let's get a little closer.
Bastion. Let's get a little closer. Try to hit the Bastion with the pulse, and then maybe recall out or burn all of my blinks trying to survive. And then what ends up happening is like the Rhine hears me shooting, turns around instinctively, and eats my pulse bomb on his like toe.
Exactly.
And then walks away from everybody with it. So I end up doing like getting almost no value out of the pulse.
All right. This teaches you the fact that when you make a lot of noise as Tracer, people are going to know that you're around and they're going to be able to react to you before you can do what you need to do. So right. This means that you have to be as quiet as possible when you're trying to get around. Not only that, you have to be as quiet as possible before you pulse bomb somebody. Okay.
So I've tightened up a little bit, and it's caused I'll do really, really well for like 2 out of the first 3 points, and then all of a sudden their entire team is just looking at me all the time, and I like can't catch a break. And I notice that when I'm doing really well on Tracer, that tends to happen a lot.
Yeah, they tend to look out for you more if you do really well. But if that's the case, then you kind of have to take a step back. Right? If you do really well and you're really quiet and you take a lot of people by surprise, then cool. But then if they start all being on watch for you, then you got to be like, okay, is it safe for me to go in if they know that I'm around? Most of the time, no. In that case, you got to be thinking about your timing. Now that's where timing comes in, right? Usually you can go in as Tracer alone at the very start and you can get a few picks without people realizing that you're there. But then once they are knowing that you're around, they're going to be looking at your angle. and then you need to have a distraction from you, and that is the rest of your team, right? So the distraction, for example, is what's happening now, right? They're looking at somebody else. That's their distraction. There are times when Tracer is a distraction, and there are times when your team is a distraction for the Tracer, right? This is good. This would have been a really, really good moment for you to actually bomb the Bastion if you had it. But the moment you start shooting bullets, Reinhardt's going to be like,
hey, that's Tracer.
I hear somebody, and it's like too late, right? So what you should do at this moment is maybe just shoot from this range right now. Shoot from this range, get your ultimate. Once you get your ultimate, they're going to turn around, they're going to notice you. Back off a little bit. Back off a little bit. Okay? Get your ult, stay around here, chill, let your team distract them for a little bit. He turns the shield around again, then you blink in and you pulse after. Right? Gives them less time to react to you because you're not technically making that much noise when you blink in for the pulse. So you got that stick on the ring. Trying to work with what you can. Got a recall, which is good. Okay. You're frontlining again. You're being a little bit too aggressive. You don't want to be in front of your team engaging it because you're not a tank, right? You kind of want to be allowing your team to push in, and you should be, how do I say this? Positioning yourself so that when the fight happens, you are already at a different, you are already at an off angle. So,
okay.
Basically, instead of you running head first, because you saw yourself doing that, right? You were just basically on the payload, just like mowing down 5 people, and 5 people were able to look at you, and your Reinhardt was like back here, right? So what you should do is, if that happens, your Reinhardt can be here and he can touch the payload and he can contest. You shouldn't be up here drawing the attention of 5 people. What you should be doing is either going towards the back here, repositioning yourself, and then you should be right here, waiting, right? You should be waiting here. And then you can kind of just wait until you get a pick there. Because right now, all you're really doing is drawing attention to yourself, especially if you're like standing on the payload. You know, you're taller than everybody and everybody can see you. You're out in the open. And definitely you don't want to be doing that as Tracer. So you want to try to be as sneaky and stay as hidden as you can. You want to be thinking like a ninja.
Gotcha.
Always be thinking like a ninja. Like what you're doing there as well, right? What you're doing there, right? When you spray this. Like I understand that you may be getting some ult charge, but look how much ult charge you get. You're at 82. You get 6% ult charge, right? So when you're shooting like this, what's happening is that, I know it's a little hectic, people don't really care too much, but when you're trying to be a little bit sneaky, you're letting a lot of people know that you're coming through, right? So instead of, because then if the Mercy's paying attention, she can hear shots, Tracer, oh, maybe Tracer may be coming around to the backside, I know that, right? But if you're hidden and you're here and she doesn't know you're here, she has less time to react and she doesn't expect you. But yeah, I would say mainly just try to be a little bit less, just try not to go guns blazing, be a little more silent if you can. In that situation, it may not have made too big of a difference, but it's like if you do it enough, you may end up forgetting about like, oh, is Tracer supposed to be a silent killer, or do I just spray at whatever I see whenever I can, right? So you're kind of building that muscle memory for you to not do that. You're training yourself to not do that. Okay, so right now you got to be thinking about your plan to get in. Okay, going for a Brig, not too bad. You can technically kill a Brig because she did get nerfed a little bit.
Yeah, the armor makes it really difficult.
Okay, you got to be very careful. Okay, you got to be very careful now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, where like I overcommit and burn my cooldowns when I'm going on people, and it leaves me out to dry. I got lucky that my supports were looking at me there, but like I did it there again. I have no blinks and I'm still going in.
You also have no recall. I think that's more important. Not having a recall and going in deep, I think that's more important for you to realize. So what I want you to do, okay? If you ever get into a situation, okay? This is not a bad play. You almost got the Brig. You got the Brig to half. You almost killed her. Not almost, but anyways, you did a lot of damage to her. Okay. Right now you're thinking, okay, I got 1 blink. Okay, and I have no recall. If I go in without recall, I can't get out. That's all you got to be thinking to yourself. If I get in, I can't get out. So if I get in, I must do something and eliminate the target so that I don't die. If you don't eliminate the target, they're going to most likely outlast you and you're going to get punished for it. So whenever you use recall, you gotta act scared. Okay, you gotta act a little scared when you have no recall. You can't just be going in and be like, whatever, I'm just gonna go in, right?
I have too much faith.
You have too much faith, yes, way too much faith. If you are in platinum or whatever, and you go in like this, you're gonna die 100%, because the Tracer's gonna get a few bullets in you. Brig is gonna be here. She's just gonna whack you once. She's just gonna shift into you, and you're just gonna die, right? And you only have one blink, so you only have one blink to get out here, and they're gonna chase you. So you gotta be thinking, okay, I should be aggressive when I go in if I have recall. Once I use that recall, I have to back out. I gotta be scared. Okay, maybe look around a little bit, like what I would do at this moment. Like when you recall, be like, okay, just chill here. Be like, are they being aggressive on me? Or just like listen. Just sit here and just listen. If they're not, if you don't hear any footsteps going towards your direction, then maybe you can peek out again. But if you hear footsteps coming in and you're like, oh, you know they're gonna be chasing you, then like, all right, I gotta back out. Okay. Or what you can do is you can take a different angle. You can, what I like to do typically, if I go in, I don't do enough damage and I recall and I have to get out, I use that time that my recall is counting down to just reposition. Just be like, okay, let's go through here. By the time I get back here, my recall is like halfway done, and then I can look and see what else I can do in the backline and not aggress too much. And then once your recall is in, then you go in again. Rinse and repeat. Recall, didn't do anything? Okay, well, go this way maybe. Check here. Go in, recall, didn't do anything, go back somewhere, right? But if you do that enough times where you recall and you don't do anything, then you might want to swap. Just kidding, but
yeah, that's when it's time to pull out Doom.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean, right?
You know, like Pharah, something.
So you know what I mean, though, right? Like it's this kind of rhythm where it's like, okay, aggressive, then not aggressive, position it a little bit, change it up, and then aggressive, get a pick or something, and then back out. It's not like you're always constantly going in and you can't. That's not how Tracer works because, well, recall just works like that. Okay, like right here, recall. Okay, now it should be like, okay, I gotta back out. Okay, so just think about it. 11, 10. You shouldn't be doing this. Nope, should not be doing that. You got 4 targets that are there that can turn around and just shoot you once and you die. So you see a Bastion on the right side. Gotta be mindful of that. You're at 68 HP, not 69, but yeah, again. So a little bit too much faith, okay? Right when this happens, I want you to be paying more attention to your HP because I feel like you're not looking at your HP a lot.
I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see if when you make the gasping sound. You hear that sound? You know the gasp. You know she makes a gasping sound when she's lower than 50 HP, right? Every time that happens, okay, every time that happens, you need to at least either recall instinctively because you're below 75 HP, right? There's just so many things that when you're below half HP for Tracer, it's not worth it for you to kind of like push your limits. Unless, of course, you're 1v1ing somebody and it's like, okay, now I can chase this target. I know for a fact that I can kill them before they can kill me. Then yeah, sure. But this is like 5 people here and you're going in at 59 HP. Once you hear that, you at least got to be looking at your HP, or you can instinctively recall, or you can just like, you know, just not engage. All right, what you could have done was just keep walking, walk, and get the health back because you don't have blinks, right? Instead of still trying to go in and be like, oh, right? Yeah. So you need to be, watching your HP is one of the most important things for Tracer. Because if you don't, you're gonna be feeding a lot, right? You haven't taken any damage yet, you're good. Waiting for your team? Okay. So let's talk about something else first, okay? Now, your team is still coming back from spawn, correct? What should you be doing as Tracer during this time?
I don't know.
Okay. So you should be trying to find a different angle where you can come from that the enemy won't be able to see you as well. Because what happens if you go through here? You got a Bastion staring at you. Literally, you have a boss.
2 shields, a Bastion with a damage boosting Mercy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I want you to be thinking about, if you have time and you're waiting for your friends to come back, you should be using that time to find a different angle where they won't see you. Right? So because if you blink across this way, they'll know that you're coming around because, well, they can see you, right? They can see you go that way. So what you should be doing is maybe go this way. Come up here. And then maybe, you know, flank from up here. I mean, this is still pretty bad, but or you can flank from down here. At least this is a better spot than just going through the front, right? I don't want you to be banging your head to try to push the main because that's not what you're supposed to do as Tracer. So basically, wherever your team is going, if your team is not running dive, you should not be going the same direction. And also, you shouldn't be going forward like that. See how you're the first one in?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed because of how hard I'm feeding right now.
Yeah, so you see how far you're literally the first one in before your entire tank line, right? If you want to go ahead in front of your team, you want to be somewhere where they are not all looking in the same direction. Okay, so you got to be thinking about the enemy. Like, okay, where is their attention? Their attention is going to be from here and here, right? They're going to be paying attention to my frontline tanks, which is the D.Va and Orisa and the shield, because that's naturally where the team is going to be coming from. So where do I go to not be seen? Well, you can be maybe from this angle. This is pretty much the only angle up here and here.
Right. Yeah.
And this is kind of why it's hard as Tracer, because when you're in this mindset where you're like, okay, I need to do something, but in order for me to do something, I have to go all the way back. It takes too long. You're like, I don't want to do that. It takes too long. I'm just going to go towards the front. And you just start feeding, right? It takes too long for Tracer to get around on this map, which makes it hard for her to play, or at least be in the correct mindset to play her. Yeah, and if you have like, basically if you're hidden, and you could have been up here too. Like you could have used the triple blink up here, and if you got pulse, you'd be like, okay, I see the Bastion, I see a break here, I see a Mercy here. They're not really paying attention to me because, well, they're trying to shoot up forward, right? Just wait, okay, is this a good time? All right, cool, blink, pulse bomb, done. It makes you land your pulse bombs a lot better, because they're not paying attention to you. They don't have time to dodge it. Not only that, they also don't have time to react to it with shields. They don't have time to react to it with D.Va, defense matrix, right? If you open up with it, then it's not, they don't see it coming. However, if they see you just running up to them like in a straight line, oh, I'm gonna bomb you, and then it's like, oh, well, you're gonna be dead by then. So again, the element of surprise is very important, especially when it comes to pulse bombs. And I want you to be kind of like maybe thinking about opening more with pulse bomb. It's very, very nice to do that. Okay, so like right there too. That could have been a good pulse bomb, right? So
on the brig or something like that.
Yeah. So let's just think about it. How would you be a sneaky Tracer like this? Okay. You have no blinks.
0 blinks.
Okay. You have no blinks, but you know you are about to get blink. Right? You see it counting down, right? But right now when you shoot, what are you doing? You're allowing her to know that you're around. Okay?
Right.
And then she's just like, oh, okay, Tracer's trying to shoot me. Okay, I'm just gonna, maybe she's not really thinking about this. Like, honestly, she could have just been like, I'm just gonna go in whatever. I don't care about this Tracer. Right? But maybe you may have alarmed her by shooting at her.
Right.
What I want you to be doing is hold off on your shooting. If you don't have to. If you don't have to shoot her, because like right now, if you shoot her, okay, are you going to be able to pick her off? Yeah, at this range, not really. But now you're looking at your blinks. Okay, I have half a second until blink comes up. So hold off on your shooting. Hold. Now blink is up. Okay, now when I'm here, do I need to blink to pulse bomb her? Maybe, but actually I can just throw the pulse bomb here. It's a little far. But don't give away your position too much every single time. You're not trying to get gold damage. You're trying to get eliminations.
Right. Yeah, I think I play for damage a little bit too much sometimes too, for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have gold damage. If you don't have any eliminations, you're not doing anything. You've been watching me a lot, haven't you?
Is that a dig on you or on me or both of us?
That's a dig on both of us, because I do it a lot. I mean, not specifically pulse bombing on an Orisa, but yes. Okay, so let's think about this. How much value are you going to be able to provide with a pulse bomb on an Orisa?
None if I die to it and I can't follow it up.
Even if you don't follow it up, even if you don't die to it, what happens if she uses her immortality? Or not her immortality, her fortify. There it is. Fortify. Well, what happens if she uses her fortify?
I'm gonna do like 5 damage to her.
Yeah, it does. It reduces the amount of damage by your pulse bomb by 50%. So, is it even worth it for you to do it on her? Because what happens if you take what? What's 50% of 350? That's 175, right? How much HP is she going to have left? She's going to have 275 HP. Are you going to be able to mow her down with 200 when she's gold at the same time?
No, absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not.
So you got to be thinking about this. Whenever you throw your pulse bomb on somebody, is there any type of damage mitigation that they can do to you, or to prevent that from actually securing a pick?
Right.
You got to be checking those lists off. Okay, for one, Orisa has Fortify to reduce 50% damage. Zarya has her Self Bubble that can mitigate your pulse bomb, right? If you throw a pulse bomb on Zarya and she uses her Self Bubble, she's going to take 0 damage from it, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you want me to, if you need me to explain more, then I can. Like, I'm asking you, do you know that Zarya has a Self Bubble that if you bomb her and she uses it, she won't take any damage from it?
Yeah. I was aware of that.
Okay.
I was, yeah.
So I was just like, all right. So yeah, you got to be aware of those things, like Zarya Bubble, Fortify from Orisa, Fade from Moira, right? You also have...
That'll drop the bomb off.
Exactly. You have
I
Wraith.
have a few times where I think she doesn't have Fade for some reason. I throw the pulse on her, and then right before it goes off, she has Fade again.
So if you don't know if they have that damage mitigation cooldown, you want to always assume that they have it.
Yeah, they have it unless they do it in front of you and it's not there, or your teammate just calls it out that that they just used it.
So this is definitely a no-no to pulse bomb the Orisa there.
Yeah, just an anecdote. I've already filled an entire page with notes.
Okay, so like right now, right? You're kind of just chilling. Your team isn't going forward. Yeah, they're shooting damage at you. You can just blink here. They're not going to kill you from this range, right? They're not going to pick you off from this range. But if you stand here long enough, yes, they will. But if you blink in, blink, you know, just go towards the back line. I want to see you be a little bit creative with your flank routes. You know, try different routes. Try here, try here. Yeah. Don't go throughout the same direction every single time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's something I have a bad habit of doing, is taking the same route every time I either go on a flank or even just try and engage. It tends to always be like through the same pathing. So as you can see here, like, what did I do to fight right before this? The exact same thing.
Exactly.
And then we'll not talk about why I'm shooting a Mercy like 100 yards away.
You know what the definition of insanity is, right?
Doing the same thing over and over again with expecting a different result.
Exactly. That was good though. So that what you did right there was really good, right?
Yep.
So you kind of did go the same route, but now you're kind of like, oh, okay, actually, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do this. Cool.
And it worked.
Yeah, and it worked exactly.
Well, the Genji's carrying his absolute mind off right now.
But I mean, look at that. You got that Mercy so low that you forced her to go into the team. Right. And that made her...
My Genji is like eating people for fun.
And you made her make a mistake by doing that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like...
she gets punished for it.
Yeah. So that's what you want to be doing. It doesn't matter if you get the pick on the support or in the backline, as long as you're making them annoyed of you, or if you're making them make more mistakes by panicking. That's what Tracer is all about, right? It's like, yeah, cool, Tracer, you know, you see all those top 500 Tracers getting 1 clips, throwing bombs and getting 4Ks, it's like constantly, but that's when you're top 500, right? Right now, what you...
Yeah, give it a couple of days, I'll be there.
Yeah, right? We'll see. But yeah, right now your worry is to, like, yeah, try to get picks, but if you don't get picks, keep trying to do what they do, but don't worry if you don't get picks, is what I'm trying to say. It may feel like you're not doing anything, but in reality, if you're drawing the attention of the backline constantly to you, you're pulling the resources away from their front line. Does that make sense?
Right, which allows my team to then get picks. That's part of enabling my team to do their jobs better. Yeah. Okay.
Imagine they have an Ana, right? They have an Ana, like back here, right? And you're shooting her. Bloop, 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 bloop. She uses sleep on you, you dodge it. She uses nade on you, you dodge it. Okay, what does that mean? She doesn't have nade to heal her team. She doesn't have sleep for a nanoblade Genji that can come in. Cool. You basically enabled your team to get a free fight because of the fact that you pulled the cooldowns away from you with this imaginary Ana here, right? So don't always think about, oh, I have to get picks to do anything as Tracer. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's always in the back of people's mind, like, oh, Tracer, you're not doing anything. You know, you're not getting picks. Where are you on the kill feed? You know, swap off. And I think that's kind of like, how do I say it? It's not necessarily true for or fair for anybody to ever say that when that happens.
Yeah, that's my mentality about it, or it has been my mentality about it in the past. So that's carrying over a lot into like me now playing Tracer a lot.
Yeah.
Is that if I'm not getting kills, I'm not putting out damage, then I'm not enabling my team, and I'm useless, and I should just swap.
Okay, so right here. Now this is very important because let's talk about timing. Okay, so you see a Bastion. It's you versus 5. Where's your team?
Like 10 miles away, getting water at the water cooler.
Exactly. You gotta be thinking about where your team is. They're taking a break. They're using the restroom. You know, they're pulling out the maps. They're getting lost. Okay, where do I go? Next experience? Hellscream, let's go this way. They're looking at the view. Okay. You've got to be aware of what your team is doing because you are essentially 1v6ing or 1v5ing. You see those Genjis nanoblading or blading 1v6? This is basically essentially what you're doing right now. You're 1v6ing.
Oh, don't do me like that, man. Don't do me like that.
You're okay. So, okay.
No,
just think about it. No, just think about this. Okay, so it's not entirely wrong for you to do this because look how much HP, how much ultimate you're at. You're 88, okay? So this is fine. You want to get your ultimate, but you want to be doing this thing where you count in your head, okay? So let's do it together.
This is that excellent spot where I can go in, burst the Bastion really quick, recall onto the high ground again, and then get out and wait for my team.
Exactly. Okay.
That's what I was thinking when we started seeing this clip because I remember this and getting frustrated because I got my bomb, but I died, and then my team like basically got stuck, and I was like, "This is my fault." Like I literally, I think in the VOD on stream, I was like, "This is my fault. Like we're losing because of me right now because I made a horrible play right there."
Yeah. Well, I mean, you understand it now. Well, now you understand why this was so bad. Like you may have understand that this was wrong, but you didn't know why.
Yeah, that's exactly why I sent you this code and was like, this is the one I want to look at because I didn't feel like I did really bad. I just didn't feel like I did that good. You know what I mean?
Okay. So let's do this together. Okay. Let's do this counting mentally in your head. Okay. So let's say you jump up from here.
You want me to say it out?
No.
Loud,
I want you to kind of just like listen. Be like, okay, so this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3. You would have need to recall by this moment in order for you to get back to high ground. So any moment after this, when you recall, you're not going to be safe. If your goal is to get your pulse bomb, does it have to be the Bastion to get it on? No.
No, I could have gotten it on Mercy right there if I was gonna dive back in, or I could have backed up and sprayed into the Tracer.
You can literally just put your crosshair here. Literally just put your crosshair here, and you'd be shooting the Orisa. You know, the Sigma and also the Tracer and also the Brig. Like, it doesn't have to be the Bastion if you really wanted to get your pulse bomb at this moment. So I want you to so this is what you call tunnel vision, right? You're like, okay, it has to be the Bastion.
I tunnel it too much,
a little too much. So you got to be thinking about, okay, what else can I do to do the same job, right? That's ultimately what you're doing in Overwatch. What can I do to win this game? There's so many different variables that you can do, but ultimately you're trying to win the game. But what can you do differently to help you? Well, if this help comes up, then you do this. If this comes up, then you do this. Well, this is one of the situations where if you have these 5 people here, you can get your pulse bomb the same way as if you try to go in and get the Bastion, right? So, okay. For this situation, what you're trying to do is just to get in quickly, get out quickly. It's almost fail-safe. It's almost fail-safe unless somebody is up here, then you're kind of screwed. But like in this situation, it's fail-safe because nobody can get to you. You're 100% safe. If you recall up here, boop, I can just walk, get away. And I have my bomb.
Yeah, I'm even now thinking like I have 12% to ult, and my goal is to get ult charge. I don't even need to get to the full because of how far away my team is. I only need to get to like 97, 98%. Yep. Which I didn't even have to do anything. I could probably just get that by spraying a couple clips right here.
Yeah. You could have just sprayed from here too. That probably would have worked. Or you could blink up here, just spray. That could have worked too. Right? That's the easier approach. I think you could have done that too. And that works too. And that's actually really, really good because guess what? You're actually using your brain now. You're actually thinking.
Yeah. I'm like I'm
You're
texting my best friend right now while we're doing this, and she's like, "How's coaching going?" And I'm like, "I'm so bad at this game. I want to uninstall it right now." But like, not actually uninstall it. But like, I'm like, I am just now realizing how horrible my decision making is in this game right now, and now I'm realizing that this is why I'm in bronze.
Okay, so now you decided to go onto the high ground, which is good. It looks like you're kind of feeling the frustration at this moment, like, okay, that way's not gonna work, so I'm gonna try this instead. But that should honestly be the first thing you think about every time. Don't go the same way that your team does. Don't go the same way that your team does.
Yeah, I did the Genji 1v6 thing again.
It was a good attempt, though. So let's see what you could have done differently.
Recall.
Not only that, you could have just thrown your bomb from up here.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Nice, nice. Nice. Okay. Alright, so.
I'm sorry.
That's
so.
It's okay.
That's so bronze. Like,
No, it's fine.
I don't have another adjective to describe getting like outplaying the other tracer, like winning the mirror duel,
And then
and
going
then
in
triple
head first.
blinking immediately to your death because your Genji is like trying to 1v6,
Yes.
and then you try and join him, and you end up eating all the bullets he was supposed to.
So you know why you did wrong? You used too many blinks when unnecessary to do the same thing, right? So what I want you to do instead of doing this, instead of triple blinking out in the open, you can just walk here, do a blink, you know, test the waters first. Test the waters. Be like, okay, my Genji's there, my Diva's there, there's a Sigma here, you know. Okay, don't use 3 blinks. It's usually never a good idea to use 3 blinks and then be in a position where the enemy team can see you. Okay, so remember how I was up here, right? And I said you can triple blink up here? If there was a Widow here or a Hanzo here, it is it's a pretty bad idea, especially at my rank, because they will turn around and they can shoot you. But then if your monkey is coming in, jumps on them, drops a bubble, then yeah, then you can do a triple blink in because your monkey is with you. You're not alone. All right, so in certain situations, it's okay for you to use triple blinks, but it really depends on how much danger you're going to be in after those 3 blinks. Okay, so like in this situation, it's okay for you to use 1, 2, and 3 blinks to get here, and you're fine. Why? Because you're safe. But if you use 3 blinks and you're out here in the open, that's bad. Right, so it really depends on the situation on where you use your 3 blinks. And in this situation, you don't know what's going to be on the other side because you can't see, right? So this is why you always want to err on the side of safety, where you use 1 blink at a time. Check it a little bit, okay, 1 blink, okay, and another blink, oh, too far, back up. If you use boom, 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 3 blinks and you're here, whoa, you got 6 people looking at you, right?
Got it.
You don't have time to react. You didn't even have time to recall. You kind of just like went in there and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna eat a bunch of bullets.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, go for the brig. Brig is close. Nice. Okay. Going for the tanks again. Okay, you guys are down. Okay.
Nice team time.
No, it's okay. So this is kind of hard for you to keep track of. Obviously, this is the last fight, so it has to be winnable. So even in this fight, you can technically ignore the kill feed in regards to whether or not it's winnable or not, because you have to win this fight, right? So right now, in regards to whether this is winnable, don't look at the kill feed, but it is also important for you to still look at the kill feed as to who is dead, right? Because the brig is dead. Oh, if the brig is dead, that means Mercy is not going to have any appeal for her, right? So she is like a really good target for you to jump on. Even though she should technically be your first one to be first target, now that the brig is down, that you picked her off, like, okay, well now Mercy's not going to have anything to help her out. I should try to jump on her as soon as possible, or at least look for her. Okay, so you got to be thinking about that kind of stuff in regards to target prioritization. It can, having one person dead on the enemy team can open up more options for you to dive on somebody else, because of the lack of defense, the lack of amount of damage that they're doing, and or armor or shields, something like that. So
Okay.
So I want you to go through your VODs. Like every time you're doing a review on your VOD, this will help you train in regards to this. Okay, so just go 0.5 or 0.25 and just be like, okay, beginning of the fight, nobody's dead, right? 6v6. Okay, this is what I want you to think. Okay, do this. Get a pick. Okay, he ults. Boom. Pause it. Okay, cool. What is it? It was a 6v6. Now it is a 6v4. 6 is your team, versus the enemy team. Right? So you are 6, they are 4. All right? Keep going. Okay, so it's still 6v4. Okay, it has been quite a while since you got the last 2 picks, but let's just say this happened a little bit earlier. It was a 6v4, now 6v3. You subtract 1 every single time. If you lose 1, you subtract 1 from 6. If they lose 1, you subtract it from whatever number it was before, right? And then so whenever you're in that situation, or whenever you're in these fights, just keep doing that, right? Beginning of every fight. Let's go on to another fight. Okay, well, you died after that, but right now, it is a 5v6 because you are the 5, okay?
Right.
Boom, okay. But now it's a 5v6, 6 minus 2 is 4. It's a 5v4, it's winnable. You see how I did that? So let me do that. Let me do that.
Yeah, it's almost like counting cards.
It is. It's you're just counting, just fingers, really.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not counting.
I kind of over complicated it, but yeah, it's like I gotta be keeping track. Like I know I die here, but I get the stick. And then once I see the mercies down, I should be in comms saying winnable fight, push.
Exactly.
Or like something along those lines, or like I got 2, push.
Exactly.
And I don't think I did that here. I think I got it and was like, well, fuck, I died.
All you gotta do is just say, hey, 5v4, go, it's winnable. And then this will allow your team to push up, or at least if they're listening, right? So it's a 5v4, okay, so 5v3.
Right, yeah.
5v2.
2, yeah, and they're throwing Diva Bomb.
Yeah. Now it's a 4v2. Because you were 5v2, now you are 4v2 because you lost 1.
Right.
Right? So let's see if that's true. How many people you got here? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 blues, and you have 1 red and another red. 2. 4v2. Right? So just do this for every single time you're going through. If you really want to train yourself on this to keep track of that, it's very, very useful to just run through a replay and just do this. Right? And then now that you're back, all right, so now it was a 4v2. Now it is a 3v2 technically, but now you are back. So that doesn't really count. So now it is still a 4v2. Right?
Right.
See, let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you also now got to be thinking about the guy that just came back. Right? So after like maybe I would say like 20 seconds, it kind of just like resets and it's hard for you to keep track of at the end. But it's very important for you to make those initial statements of, oh, it's winnable, push, or it's not winnable, back up, save ults, you know. You should be keeping track of that even if you are alive, okay? But it's very much more important for you to be talking about that stuff when you're dead because you can't do anything else. You can't fight. You're dead. You might as well offer that information to your team.
Got it.
So let me just talk about the overarching top 3 things that you need to be looking at. I would say number 1 would be your target prioritization. Make sure you are on the right targets, aka the easiest target for you to pick off. So usually that would be in the order of supports first, then DPS, then tanks. Okay. Number 2, flank routes. Try to learn as many flank routes as you can. You can maybe just go through the videos, or you can just experiment. But I guess just keep in the back of your mind the flank routes that are open to you. You can technically break these rules if any of those rules are super weak. For example, like I said before, you have 2 supports who are pocketing each other. You have a Mercy and a Brig, or you have a Mercy and an Ana who are just healing each other and you can't do anything to kill them. But then all of a sudden, you look around for a little bit, you see a DPS or a tank all the way in the back. He's 1 HP. You can go and chase that target and finish them off. Kill them first. So the lowest HP target is overall more important in regards to, besides the role. Like it's something for you to always keep in the back of your mind. And it's kind of fluid at the same time. It's like, you don't always want to just stick to, oh, only support dies first. They have to die first. Because then it's like, yeah, what if they're pocketing each other? You can't do anything. Well, I'm just going to keep shooting at them. They're not going to die. Well, that's not my fault, right? It's not meant to be that way, but it's just kind of like a guideline that helps you out the most. It makes it easier for you. Okay, so remember how I said the top 3? I want you to scratch that number 3. I mean, it's important for you to pay attention to kill feed, but I think it's more important for you to pay attention to your health. Watch your HP. That's more important than watching the kill feed. Because it doesn't matter if you know how many people are alive. If you're 1 HP and you don't know it, you're going to die. Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't realize it because I didn't take the notes that I was supposed to. But yeah, make that your number. I think that is definitely more important now that you brought it up. Number 1 should be, target priority. Number 2 should be your flank routes. And number 3 should be your HP. Okay. Your HP, that is very, very, very important. If you don't know how much HP you're at, you don't know what you can do, how far you can go, and what it is that you're capable of finishing off, right? When you're like, I would say it's a little dicey in regards to which one's more important, but I think in regards to staying alive and just having more uptime on Tracer, that should be your number 3rd thing. So focus on these 3 things, okay? More than everything else that you learned. Everything else you can kind of just like keep in the back of your mind, but I want you to be sure that you are paying attention to those first 3 things more than anything else. Okay, number 1, target prioritization. Number 2, flank routes. Number 3, HP. So basically what you can do is you can get like a sticky pad, sticky notes, and put those as number 3. Top 1, top 2, top 3, and then put them on the side of your monitor, just so you're always like looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have some sticky notes. I was actually thinking of actually doing that myself.
You don't want too much though. You don't want too many. Because if you have like a bajillion of them on your screen, like which one do I look at? I don't know.
What was the number that you said was the range where I should start to like recall it? Was it 75?
When you're 75 HP, it also depends on who you're going against. Because, for example, if you're going against the Junkrat, right? He does 120 damage for each grenade. So if you're below 120 HP,
you're dead.
You might want to recall before then.
Okay.
But if you're going against, let's say, a Tracer, then it's like, yeah, you can recall a little bit later because she does chip damage. Or if you're going against a McCree, it's risky to be under 140 because a one shot you will die in 1 hit if it hits you in the head because he does 140, right? So it's like, it depends on what hero you're going against. But in general, if you're going against a fight and there's like a group of people, 75 HP, you kind of want to make that as like your moment. Like, okay, I got to get out, I got to recall or not be here. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But I would say don't worry too much about like, who you're going against yet. That's when you're like really working on your 1v1s. Like, okay, I think that's a little bit more advanced. It's like, not really, it doesn't sound advanced, but it's like right now you need to be focusing on your fundamentals. Right? So wait, what's your SR right now?
1467.
Okay. All right, so we're going to be using that as our benchmark on where we're at right now. And then we're going to touch base again within a few days, and we're going to see where you're at. Sound good?
Sounds perfect.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And I'll see you next time, Noah. Thank you, man.
Thanks so much, Dibz, man.
Bye. Well, that's it for the first episode of Zero to Hero. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you think there was anything we missed, we would appreciate any type of feedback, whether it's good, whether it's bad, just overall what you guys thought about. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.